One of the questions I've had from the beginning of the class is whether it is good or bad to have all this connection through social media, texting, and so on. Turns out to not be as clear and cut and dry of an answer as just yes, it is good, or no, it's bad. Instead, there are a lot of aspects to consider. First, Nicholas Carr speaks to the effects that computers have had on our brains. In his book, The Shallows, Carr explains to us that as physical print is losing out to digital technology, we are losing our ability to stay focused and think deeply. He attributes this to the plasticity of our brains. A slew of scientific studies have shown that our neurons adapt to the experience we have and the ways that we think, so that our thought patterns become more ingrained and more efficient. This is not always beneficial to us, however. Paper print encourages long periods of focus, stillness, and thought, because all that is in a book is words on pages. Computers, on the other hand, have multiple tabs and windows running at the same time, allowing for much more accessible multitasking. Even when reading a book on a computer, digital print, if you will, we experience this ease of distraction. This effect is multiplied when the computer is connected to the internet. Carr asserts that this difference in processing and requirements for thinking is shaping our brains to be more inclined to quick changes of focus and no need for long periods of uninterrupted attention. The ultimate effect being this: we are forgetting how to think. He worries that we are going back to a pre-book sort of society, one where people process things as if they have only ever heard and not read. We will see if he's right. Sherry Turkle is another writer on the topic of the ways that constant connection and our smart devices are affecting us. In her book, Reclaiming Conversations, she talks about the way that children growing up with smartphone-wielding parents are slower to develop empathy for a couple reasons. First, a parent with a smartphone teaches kids from a young age that a life of divided attention is the status quo, something to be expected. This plays into the second reason, which is that kids with smartphones live with their attention divided. When someone grows up not having to deal with the quiet parts of life, they do not have to do uncomfortable introspection or put themselves in places of empathy. There are middle school teachers in her book that point out their children are 3 or 4 grades behind what they would expect as far as empathy development goes. These reasons are a fairly compelling argument to me that our smart devices and social media are affecting us in some serious and negative ways. But the trickiness of the situation comes in these two facts. The internet has contributed to some serious good, and our technology isn't going away anytime soon. Because we can point to the positive things that Facebook and Twitter have done, from allowing you to wish a loved one across the country a happy birthday, or allowing for a class reunion that would have otherwise been impossible, all the way to the revolutions and the cultural movements that they've caused, it is hard to say that the net is all bad. And with technology getting faster and cheaper by the year, it is hard to see a time in the near future that we will go back to books being the most popular medium. All that being said, I still believe the answer to my question about whether our social media and technology is good or bad for us can be answered by saying it isn't great. But understanding that it can be beneficial and it is here to stay, we need to work at teaching ourselves and the people around us how to use our technology thoughtfully and in moderation. We especially need to teach this to the next generation as they grow up and design communities that are sometimes entirely online.